What was the Yo Mama joke that ended all Yo Mama jokes? I worked as a pediatric nurse at a children's hospital, and the kids at the amputation ward didn't hold back on anyone. The kids there had been through more surgeries than most people have birthdays, but they still found ways to laugh. The ringleader was Leonard, but everyone called him No Leg Lenny. He was 12 years old with spiky black hair and had lost his right leg in a car accident 2 years ago. Lenny ruled that ward like a tiny Dave Chappelle. Every time a new kid arrived, he would wheel himself over in his custom wheelchair that had flame stickers all over it. He'd size them up and let the jokes formulate in his head. The other kids would gather around because they knew what was coming. Lenny's specialty was Yo Mama jokes, and he delivered them with perfect timing that I think would make Seinfeld jealous. I remember when 8-year-old Sherman arrived after losing his left arm in a farming accident. The poor kid was still adjusting to the reality of his situation and barely spoke above a whisper. His parents had just left after visiting hours, and he was sitting alone in his bed staring at the wall. That's when Lenny rolled up with his crew of 4 other kids trailing behind him. Lenny parked his wheelchair right next to Sherman's bed and gave him that signature smirk, the one that meant a roast session was about to begin. "Hey, new kid, make sure when you laugh your other arm doesn't pop off. Ready?" Sherman just blinked at him with these huge puppy dog scared eyes. Without waiting for an answer, Lenny launched into his routine. Yo Mama so clumsy she tripped over a wireless network. The other kids giggled, but Sherman just stared. Lenny wasn't discouraged though. He never was. Yo Mama so slow it takes her 2 hours to watch 60 Minutes. More laughter from the goons, but Sherman pulled his blanket up higher. I was checking vitals on another patient, but keeping one eye on the situation. This was Lenny's way of welcoming new kids, and usually they started laughing after a few jokes. It was his twisted way of saying, "You're one of us now." But Sherman wasn't cracking even a tiny smile. Lenny wheeled closer and his voice got louder. "Yo Mama so old her birth certificate says expired." The other kids were practically falling out of their wheelchairs laughing. Tommy, who was missing both legs below the knee, was slapping his bed rail. Sarah, with her prosthetic hand, was wiping tears from her eyes. But Sherman just kept staring at that same spot on the wall. That's when Lenny decided to go nuclear. He cleared his throat dramatically and announced to the whole ward, "Yo Mama so ugly when she walks into a bank they turn off the surveillance cameras." The laughter was deafening. Even some of the older kids from down the hall had wheeled over to watch. Lenny was in his element, basking in the attention like a tiny dictator of comedy. But then something changed in Sherman's face. His jaw tightened and his good hand balled into a fist under the blanket. He turned his head slowly to look at Lenny, and when he spoke his voice was steady and clear. "Is that all you got?" The ward went dead silent. Nobody